What do we think, everybody?
Well, first of all, good to see Alex back in vision. Hello, from Texas. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm sure we'll do a special Chiefs Buccaneers prediction later. But in terms of the Wolves, much better than recent weeks. Only one loss in four now in the league. Yes, we've got 5 points from it, but we could have had 7 if a bit of luck had gone our way today in terms of the chances we had. Obviously, Adama's in the first half was very, very well defended by James Justin, who is turned into one very, very impressive young right back. No one has got. If anyone denies that Justin is a good defender, I will be staggered with the way in which he's just developed so quickly. And of course, Silva's at the end, which again on another day and at another moment could and should have gone in, but ultimately Kasper Schmeichel being the top draw goalkeeper he is, stuck his foot out, made himself big, and did what he needed to do ultimately. And at least we were able to create plenty of chances. And coming forward, Pedro Neto looking absolutely divine. The way in which he's absolutely made that left hand side extremely torrid in the first. Yeah, made Leicester's left hand side extremely torrid in the first half. Was just glorious. And he's I think seen Noel Gallagher singing his praises on social media, saying, "Pep, sign him up, please. Sign him up." I suspect an immediate hot take can be that he will be in for. There'll be a massive bid or two for Pedro over the summer. But I think,
well, if you guys remember, one of the more grounded members of our little forum here back at the lockdown when it first started, this was singing Pedro Neto's praise and just giving out man of the matches, if he even touched a blade of grass. So
sorry,
I'm
I
not saying
don't
that
know
it's all me. But...
I'm not sure I remember that.
But on the whole, we were able to create chances. Again, not decent in possession. I don't think the defence seemed too bad. Obviously a couple of times towards the end where Leicester were able to get in and create themselves a chance. Vardy being the man he is, could have put that away. In a sense, should have put that away. I think Dan Donker did enough to force him around too wide, basically, for him to get the angle right. But all in all, I say it's a step forward. I think the confidence is probably back after Tuesday. Whether we win by hook or by crook, that kind of win is so important in terms of getting a team like ours off the ground. And I think it did demonstrate that during the whole 90. So I'm pleased. It's a useful point as well, knowing that Leicester are still in the title race. Who knows what folks will be saying come about 6 o'clock with City against Liverpool coming up shortly. But a team who are in the title race, we're in the race for Europe at least, very much in the thick of it at the top end. It's a very useful draw to be able to get, I think, and hopefully this will be able to push us on as we go against sides in and around our element of the table within this, say, fairly solid mid-table. And again, we are 12 points clear of the drop zone. So on that basis, we are looking very safe.
Not at all, but not that we're not at all safe, but we are looking safe. But I think that in light of the other events this weekend, the win against Arsenal, which was obviously huge, kind of got us a little bit of that swagger back. I think looks a little less more like it was Arsenal than it was us, but we'll take that after they gave away a goal in 75 seconds yesterday to Villa. But I that performance today, I have no issues with it. I thought the defense, I was very satisfied with our strength, and you saw everybody tracking back, Kilman getting in front of those shots at the end. I think Johnny, who I hope is okay. I know he was probably
news on Johnny from Nathan Judah from the Express and Star saying Nuno confirms that Johnny's 45 minutes was planned, so he's all okay. Just to integrate him back
twice, I think, as well. So he's he's good. It's good to have him. It was good to see him back. Obviously, the talking point is going to be, and we mentioned this before we went live. It's going to be Fabio missing that tap in, more or less, which hurts. But at the same, a few minutes later at the other end of the pitch, I thought,
I think that's hard.
It is, yeah. But that's
nature of football, I suppose.
and that, it's not anything against him. I'm not being harsh on him at all, but that's the talking point. If an inch or two, or having and I wouldn't be able to do this, to take a touch there and then go around one of the best keepers in the league. 18 years old, 19 years old, but at the other end of the pitch, Vardy should have put that away as well. So a draw either way for me, but I'm pleased, and I guess we're just gonna hope that nobody comes and takes my golden boy this summer.
Well, that's why for me it works. I'm pleased with the performance, because if you compare that to the Chelsea game where we set out for a 0-0 and got it, the difference was complete.
Was massive. It was like you flipped the axis.
I don't want to say it, but night and day. But between the two sort of performances, either side of the Arsenal game, and that confidence was there. I mean, there's still little bits here and there, but the tempo was back in the play, and it wasn't just tempo for the first half. It was apparently. Sorry, Alex, you've got to adjust your. Yeah,
serious. Your wife.
So I just saw a message come in. Yeah, my wife's OCD was obviously doing it. That completely lost me. Yeah, the tempo, and it was there for most of the game. It pretty much the 90 minutes. I mean, there was patches where Leicester got back into the started to come on a bit, but we kind of weathered those, and generally I did feel that we started, once Fabio came on, it looked like the tactic was to sit a bit more, but we weathered that. I mean, I really wish we wouldn't, but okay, fair enough, it happened. But the tempo and the passing was a lot quicker. The moving the ball around, and that can only have come with the confidence from the win. It doesn't matter how we got that last win, but we got it, and it's definitely made a difference. And you can see it's made a difference because and I think Johnny being back in the side has made a difference. Absolutely. It just does. Yeah. It felt good. We have missed him so much. It's unreal. I mean,
and we bossed that left side in that first half.
Yeah,
it was very, very impressive.
But not only in the defensive sense. I mean, he was up there supporting, but he was offering good support. And I'm not. It's no surprise that Neto sort of faded a little in the second half when he didn't have Johnny behind him. That's no disrespect to Hoever, who I think is a great player, to be honest. I think he's going to be another superb player in the coming years. But it wasn't quite the same. Johnny just slotted straight back in as if he hadn't missed a game. Yeah, outstanding. I think. I can't say how much. As I say, I can't say enough about how much I think we've missed him. I think even if we would have dropped the game 5-0 today, we still would be smiling a little bit that Johnny was out there just being Johnny. So it's good to see. Very pleasing. So any hot takes?
Ooh,
it's definitely looks like a side that's going to win the FA Cup. I'm going to stick with that until it's not happening. So an FA Cup coming to you, Wolves.
I'm going to say we will. I think the FA Cup is perfect, and I think that therefore we'll win the FA Cup and actually get ourselves into the top 10, of which would then be a fairly good season. And on the basis of today, I think fighting for Europe positions in the league is still a bit too far, just a little bit too far, just looking at the points, and obviously in which again those towards the top have been playing recently, a bit too far out of our reach. But I certainly think comfortable mid-table, win the cup, silverware, back into Europe would be, I think, an extremely ideal end to what's been just a wretched season generally. I say the word wretched because of obviously just how bizarre it's been. But on the basis of performance, I certainly would say my hot take would be top 10. We'll climb into the top 10 and finish, somewhere in probably 9th or 10th, basically. But it will be fairly solid, and say, again, 1 loss in 4. Confidence is back. Much better overall today than recent weeks combined and put together, quite frankly.
Did we, by the way, not to interrupt, did we not mention Traore today? I thought he was outstanding.
In that second
Just
half,
beautiful
in that
today.
first half, James Justin kept him like fairly quiet and won most of the battles he had.
We don't count the first halves around here, so
But then, yes, indeed. But then the second
we
half,
play at
Adama.
45 hard.
Well, I think in the first half, Adama was just seeing what he could get away with and what he could do to get around it. Because you could see because by the end of the half, he started to own him, and then the second half, he completely owned him, really. So
he didn't have any baby oil on today, right? Is that maybe?
No, I don't think there was no oil on the arms. Looking at it,
oh, there was. Yeah, there was.
Oh, there was. All right. Yeah. But no, Adama grew himself into the game excellently. And that's the kind of performance I think is what makes Adama as admired as he is, and rightfully so. It's just a case of obviously, if one of these crosses that he is able to put in, that someone could be on the end of it. That's the thing now. We need someone to be on the end of one of those kind of crosses.
I mean, I was a bit disappointed by some of the criticism I was seeing being posted about him. Oh, he's rubbish, he's rubbish. He should have scored his goal. He placed that ball into the bottom corner. It was a good defensive block. That's what it comes to.
Just the way,
as
I say,
defensive block.
The way in which James Justin ran in was a typical great world-class defender just coming in and doing his business.
I'll be honest, I don't know what some people thought
I'm owning it.
He was going to do with it. I mean, what do they want to do? Smash it into the top corner? Is that what they're expecting? I mean, it's a bit ridiculous. He placed it into the bottom corner. He put it. That was going in. If whoever I can't remember his name, the Leicester player hadn't blocked him, it would have gone in because Schmeichel wouldn't have got to it because it was in the bottom corner. It's insane. I don't know what. Some people just want him to be sold. I don't know why they want him to be sold. They just want him to be sold, which is absolutely insane. As
Jeremy Clarkson would say, it would be preposterous. To put it bluntly, quite frankly, he has, as you showed, the way in which he was able to run round, owned basically that right hand side in the second half. His crosses he was putting in, of course, someone got on if it would have been nice. Obviously, that shot, which was again just defended extremely well, we'll bang on about it, no doubt. And the way he was able to, again, actually, his awareness as well was all right. His awareness was all right. I think one moment would be when he knew he couldn't do anything, so he just cut inside to Neves, who decided to have a pop.
He's a good player. I'm not having this that he's not a good player, and he's not.
No, not at all.
It's absolute nonsense. He has.
Yes. This season he has struggled, but I think everybody generally across the whole of the league has struggled. It's been such a weird year. It's been the weirdest season. It's been the weirdest season probably in living memory. These two.
This is going to get normal here with 2020 Euros played in 2021, and then a December World Cup the following
in
season.
2022.
It's all gravy from here on.
Nothing will be back to normal. Nothing will be back to normal until 23-24, when obviously the Euros are in Germany that year. I know in 2024 it's been nice, but. Yeah, it's such a strange time for footballers. It's such a strange time for everybody connected with football. The fact again, cases are going down, but we still can't be in stadiums because this lockdown is a perfect illustration of it. And I suspect we probably won't be back in, say, grounds for a long time. But with that weirdness, obviously, comes with people just having to try and do what they need to do. And I say, Adama in that second half really was able to get the gist of that right-hand side.
He put that lovely cross across.
It was a beauty.
Silva, absolutely fantastic cross. And if you watch the replay, you see Nuno goes absolutely mad at someone not getting on the end of it. And then shortly after, Willian's substituted. Now I'm wondering that the fact that he didn't get on, even remotely get on the end of that, was what was the straw that broke the camel's back for him, because he was quite quiet today. He's certainly better in other games. I don't think he was bad, but I don't think he wasn't really making much of an impact. So
he could have been better and could have been worse, I think would be the phrase to use for Jose's performance this afternoon.
But the good thing is it takes the pressure off Silva. And it means Silva can come on for half an hour at the end of the game, or 20 minutes at the end of the game, and hone his thing. What I was most impressed about, I know that he missed the chance, but for me, it was the fact that he got to that chance, that ball was slipped through, and he had the mindfulness to actually be on it. Whereas a lot of times you'd see that sort of ball be played through. Great ball by Neves, by the way. rolled into that position, and no one would even be.
And it would go on straight into Kasper Schmeichel's hands.
On to get there. So, you know, he got there, and I don't think it was it wasn't a bad finish. It was just a bloody.
It wasn't. I have to step in because you've accused me of being dreadfully negative, and I swear it's just my monotone American voice because I don't blame him at all for missing that. But that is going to be a huge talking point, obviously.
Anyone watching this, you don't hear him offline. Oh, he just doesn't stop. Oh, he's terrible. Terrible he is.
Yeah, right. It's not fair. It's not fair to my baby boy Fabio. Although I do want to see him and Jose kind of have a chance to work together. I really wish Jose would have been able to stay on.
Those two up top. Those two up top could be something we could surely think about. Because they obviously again. I think it was 5 at the back today, I think, wasn't it? Yes. But surely we could have those two at top. I don't know how formation-wise it could work, but obviously the most impressive point about that was Fabio saw it. He was like, right, I'm going to jump onto this. And he did what he needed to do. Now, of course, with a bit more power, it could have gone past.
His first goal from open play was the same scenario. So
against again in the derby against West Brom, where he saw the ball come to him, he's like, right, I'm going to get onto this, and he placed it beautifully into the bottom corner that afternoon. And again, if it wasn't for Kasper Schmeichel being Kasper Schmeichel, who is a goddamn good goalkeeper, that would have no doubt gone in and have got us all 3 points. So he is improving. Now I can understand why there are a few. Well, I can get why there are a little bit of this constructive criticism about it, but there's still a fair few people on social media going absolutely ballistic that he didn't put it in. Against Kasper Schmeichel, one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, and he's there to do his job by sticking his left foot out, making himself as big as he can, and he did it perfectly. Ultimately, just like therefore, with the chance in the first half, Fabio did not do anything wrong. He got onto the ball. He knew he wanted to. He saw the ball. He knew exactly what he wanted to do with it. Hopped onto it, and the keeper made a good save. Anyone who moans,
to be fair, you can't put a cat video on Twitter without somebody imploding. Like, did you get that cat permission to post the Facebook
groups, the Facebook groups that are in the Facebook groups across Wolves Facebook groups. There was many, and just the number of people who just immediately just then went into, I think, just spontaneously combust after that was saved. Give the lad a break.
For sure.
Give the lad a break. He did what he needed to do, and it's a great save from the keeper. Honestly, he will get better over time, and at some point, all of this playing time will be so valuable as he goes on. Yes, we have brought him for the long term, I would certainly suspect, and even though we missed, and he'll feel probably a little bit disappointed about it. He got the chance, and he made it. $45
million for him again until he starts to perform at that high level. So he'll be around. For sure.
He'll be fine. But, he'll be fine.
Also, he's got Walker today. Anybody? Any thoughts?
Better, but he often looks better when he comes back into the team after being either taken out or injured. So I will reserve that until he's played his second game. But definitely better.
He's going to score a worldie just for you now.
Well, yeah. The thing is, if he's playing in the back three, I'm not expecting him to be able to finish. If he's playing as a midfielder who's meant to be arriving in the box to finish stuff, then I'm going to complain because if you're going to be put in that position, you need to be able to do that job. Otherwise, don't put him in that position. And to be fair, they didn't today. So, yeah, he looked fairly comfortable. In fact, the defence on the whole looked relatively comfortable.
I would agree,
but I still have some reservations where they just don't seem to be aware of what's going on around. And I mean, that for me, that Vardy header, Vardy's a great striker. He is hands down.
I thought that was more Vardy than us switching off, though.
Yes, to a point. But I made sure that before I made the complaint, that I watched the replay a couple of times. But not one of them before, as the ball was going over to the wide man. So not in the play. Not even once did anyone just quickly have a look around to see where Vardy was.
Yeah,
he's He's a great striker. You've got to keep tabs on him. You cannot just not know where he is. And none of them, the two I think who were beaten there in the air, great play by Vardy, don't get me wrong, but they didn't know where he was. They had no idea, absolutely no idea. It was like a shock when he came over the top of them. And that's what they've got to just a little look before, okay, I know you can't look all the time. And I wouldn't have expected him to look when he was crossing the ball, but just as the ball was going across where, it's traveling to the man, just a quick look round, something like anything like that, just to be aware of what's around you. But no, they just stood still, really. And there's that free kick as well, where luckily Tielemans completely miskicked the shot. They were just
it wasn't a free kick. Yeah, it was come to the edge of the area and.
Okay, you might. Okay, I accept that you might not man mark them there or anything like that, but at least have a couple a little bit closer to close them down, because he had all the time in the. I mean, he did. I don't think he needed to even try and hit that first time. He could have took a touch and picked his spot. They were that. They were in that much space, and that just little things like that. That's where we give away silly goals, and then get unstuck. So. That was a little bit concerning, but otherwise in open play it was a few hairy moments, but on the whole we kind of got it away and did well. And I say, with Johnny in the side, it looks totally safe down that side. I still wonder why Semedo struggles with certain types of ball in the air, where he seems to misjudge them. I don't know what it is.
You just need to go to Compton and just start launching them at him. Just work with them every day.
Yeah, yes, I'm sure they'd listen to some aging, old, fat, middle-aged man who's never played at any sort of level of football. Yeah, but that's why I can come on. That's why I can come on here and just talk and talk and talk and talk. I can talk. We can all talk a good game. But no, I just
easy when you own the website.
Yes, indeed. But I think the defense. I think the defense.
If you are watching and you want to come and join in, just the links are all there.
The link is all here.
I took a quick peek at the verdict thread, and 0 people are talking about us. So I don't think anybody's watching except for the people that just hate us and hate everything that comes out of our mouths. So.
But I hate as Taylor Swift once. As Taylor Swift once said, the hater's going to hate ultimately. So, but what can we do? And I just in terms of defensive points, I can again completely get where you're coming from. In terms of they could just come out more, be a bit more bustly, if that's even the word. Be a bit more on it, because of course it was no doubt for Dendoncker. I'm guessing, feared the worst as soon as Vardy was able to get around him and knock the header. Thankfully, it was at an angle where it just couldn't. Where it was probably always going to go wide, but on another day, could have very easily have flown into the net, which obviously would have gave Leicester all 3 points and would have been a stinker to concede. So yeah, it is definitely those kind of things in which I think that the guys at the back need to be more forceful with. If they can be more forceful, then
I'm definitely more relieved that we didn't lose on that Vardy one than the fact that we didn't win on Fabio's.
Oh yeah, because that would have been an absolute stinker if that one had gone in, conceding in the last dying embers of the game, where we didn't deserve to lose. It would have been horrid. It would have been horrid. It would have been horrid for that to have occurred. So at least in the end. Except that I think the defenders were solid, and Ruben having a fair few chances as well, I note today, because couldn't get his shooting boots in fully gear. Obviously, in fact, I'm guessing he's still extremely tired from the events of the last week or so, where watching the birth of his third kid on FaceTime is quite I'm guessing quite an emotional experience for him.
I think he's tired from the exertion of making 3 children as well.
yes, indeed. But it's at least he's again able to have shots and on another day one of them will fly in. It's a case of he hasn't scored.
I'm craving a Neves Thunder bastard. Just
yes. If João could do it last week, pretty sure Ruben could do it at some point soon, I suspect. And it will happen. It will happen. The last one obviously was against Espanyol, which is almost a year. Obviously, is in the South Bank for that, and absolutely mesmerising when that flew into the back of the net.
I don't know if I speak for everybody, but I kind of miss fans being in the grounds.
Yes, of course, all of us miss it. Nuno missed.
That was an understatement on purpose.
Nuno has spoken about it on the record plenty of times that he is missing us being at Molineux, being the 12th man, absolutely going ballistic.
America's not. I was talking to David yesterday, and America doesn't care about anything that's happening.
12.
So our stadiums are at 20-30% capacity. But it is really like therapeutic to turn on a football game and see fans cheering.
Which is why you've got limited capacity in the Super Bowl tonight. I know, yeah. But at least I suppose here and just on COVID stuff, at
one
least
of my best mates got tickets. He's got a bit more money than I do.
No.
Could you imagine dropping $20,000 on a ticket for one game to sit in the top of the North Bank?
$20,000?
20 per ticket.
Oh my good Lord. For the Super Bowl?
Yeah, he's asking me, hey, do you want to come? No.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want to go.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want to go last year.
How much would it have cost you?
It would have been $20,000 just for the ticket this year, but last year was like $10,000 for travel, room, and a week in Miami. But this package is like $20,000. You got to have a picture with the Lombardi Trophy, so.
Oh, nice.
Which will be handed to the Chiefs tonight.
Indeed, fingers crossed. Get back onto that in a bit. But just in terms of COVID, I think generally, at least here in the UK, things are seemingly, I think, working a bit.
You guys seem in better shape. I'm really hopeful.
Yeah, we've now got over 12 million. There's now over latest stats put us over 12 million first doses given, which again is progress and is exactly what I think we're wanting. My mum is still awaiting the letter because she's in the top 4 groups, I think, in terms of those who are most vulnerable. But more than 12 million, more than 500,000 jabs given out yesterday, over 550,000 according to the BBC. Less than 20,000 cases. Did you write all these
statistics down?
No, looking at the BBC's article, because these stats usually come out about 4 o'clock every day in terms of the daily statistics. In terms of
that's a beautiful segue. Stats. Who was your man of the match?
Oh, very nicely segued. At least things COVID-wise are on the up here and looking better. Man of the match. Ooh. From our perspective, and causing the absolute carnage he did in the first half, it would have to be Pedro Neto. That run where he managed to escape through those defenders was just sublime. He almost sent Johnny Evans for a coffee. He could have sent him for a coffee, and in fact, he probably could have sent him for 2 coffees or a bottle in the North Bank.
Yeah,
it was that kind of those kind of moments of moulding who is turning into someone who's turning to an absolutely world class superstar. It was mentioned in the commentary that he wants to be best player in the world, and he's got every right to dream about being best player in the world.
He's going to be, this is something we talked about. He's going to be better than Jota ever was, I think. And Jota went to Liverpool and scored 9 goals and a
before obviously he got injured and so forth. Yeah, but
the way in player in the world right now apparently. But the
way in which Pedro was able to run, just create space for himself, probably giving Leicester a massive shock and a bit of an eye opener.
That's the thing though, Cash. It's the way he's able to do that every single game. Like he is just a master, and he is so young. I'm so excited.
He hasn't.
I really want to get his name on a jersey, but if I do that, I'm sorry, a kit. But if I do that, he'll just explode. His legs will explode on the pitch. So I never get a kit for active players.
Which is why I have my name on the back and the number 16. So Porker 16. But the consistency in terms of him being able to create chances and be able to actually do something which gets people talking, gets the team a boost is nothing short of brilliant. And he just showed that. And yes, it was that one particular moment on highlights, but it was just brilliant. the link-up play, I think, down at Leicester side per se for that first half was very nice between him and Johnny, and I think it will turn into a very, very good partnership. And just if we could put it in the back of the net, because I think he's on a bit of. I think his last goal was against. Who was his last goal against? Was it Chelsea? Trying to remember. So he's obviously on a bit of a dry spell in terms of scoring, but as you say, that kind of moment just made me think, wow, we have a hell of a player on our hands. And I certainly think,
disagreeing with nothing you just said, I'm still going to go with Traore for his second half performance.
Okay.
You put the two players together, it's a hell of a man of the match. But,
indeed.
How many cards did Traore pick up for us today? Like, how many?
I think 2 or 3. I think there were 2 or 3. I think there were 2 or 3.
That's a contribution you can't count out. But just he looked like the guy that if he wasn't scoring was helping somebody else, usually Raul, score. But I really thought he was going to break. Like he had that cross through to Neto, right? That I don't remember seeing. Usually Nuno understands. He's like, well, but Neto, and it just kind of hit him up on it. It took a high bounce behind him to be fair. But I thought that moment should have won the match, not just Fabio, but that one there, and that was all his creation. So.
Absolutely. So I take it you're going to Traore, Cash is going for Neto. I am going for I don't
Coutinho.
know because, well, funnily enough, I was going to say Coutinho in the first half is the best I've personally felt he's played for a very, very long time. He drifted a bit in the second half and he had an absolutely god-awful shot. But I think his overall performance was way, way better than anything that he's done this season, because I don't think he played particularly well in the last game, barring an absolute world-class goal, which was a world-class goal. Whereas today, I thought he played really well in midfield and had an absolute ass shot. So it was. But Traore definitely bossed the game in the second half, and Neto was definitely unbelievably good in the first half. But I'm going to give it to Neves because I thought throughout the entire game, on the whole, he kept the midfield ticking.
Yep.
He started a lot of the attacks. He broke up a lot of the play really well, and just generally all the way through was just consistently good all the way through. And I'd like to have given it Johnny, but he wasn't on the whole for the whole game. So.
Which again, as mentioned earlier, which again, as mentioned for the record, was part of Nuno's plan to play him for the first half. But it makes sense. Ease him back in. Ease Johnny back in. Obviously, first game after basically exactly 6 months. I think it was 6 months ago yesterday. I think he got injured. I think my mind says right. It was 6th of August.
I wasn't expecting him back. I was really surprised to see him play today, and I was really pleased to see how well he played, and it was as if he'd never been away, and that's great because he just didn't look out of place. You know how some players come back and they need a few games to get up to match fitness and stuff like that. He was straight in and looked great, fantastic. You really can't knock that. So
no.
he gets second just for being able to do that. But I'm going to go with Neves for my wine because I thought he throughout the game.
Neves is always a good choice.
Yes, and again, solid. He's playing consistently after obviously a very long week with his wife being stuck in Portugal, or his partner being stuck in Portugal, and him not being able to be with her, which I'm guessing again is just horrible.
To be fair, if he was there, I don't know that he'd be allowed in the hospital.
Yeah,
I suppose. Obviously, you want to be there. Like the fact that they're not is like it's crushing, But yeah, it's surprising that she's not with him. I don't know the personal situations
Wolves, yeah.
So, but
if she was here, she probably would have no doubt been, I think, allowed into New Cross or wherever they would have gone. Because I think there is obviously, I think a birthing partner can go into safe suites in the UK after a lot of pressure that was applied to make that happen. So obviously it's a shame for him, but yeah, he's playing consistently and doing his job. And obviously massive congrats to Ruben. He's scoring on all accounts. Just needs to put a screamer away. We can put a screamer away.
They have this on in the clubhouse right now, so they're saying thank you, Cash. So it's a joke, David. They're not really. David's not here anymore.
Sorry,
David's usually my foil, and he just completely ignored me and left me.
Sorry, I ruined
You left him hanging there, David.
I got sidetracked by administering the website to make sure we weren't.
There's been no idiots.
Let's run that back again. Let's start that again.
No, man, that's cool. It's fine.
It's good, but Ruben, I think all we're hoping is Ruben scores an absolute worldie at some point, which he will. It's just a case of when, not if, and at least I think again though he's contributing ultimately, and again some of his passes were great. Some of his passes were lovely. I think Max Kilman pulled off a Neves-esque pass in the first half as well. I mean, where he swung it right out to the right hand side with Semedo, I think it was. So people, I think, clearly are benefiting from, say, Neves and his passing ability. So if that can rub off on the team, we can obviously push the ball forward more. Then I'm sure it will benefit everybody.
I'm getting really interested in the Euros this year, like I always am. But like, how many of these guys are going to be in that first team? You know, it's
and how many are going to be? How many of us are going to be in ground? Because I have absolutely not got a refund for that game at Handham on the 22nd of June. Scotland against Croatia, which will be epic. But no, it certainly is. Obviously, Portugal have got a lot to play with them being European champions.
Well, it's not just Portugal. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see. Well, obviously Traore for Spain. I wouldn't be completely surprised to see Johnny on the fringes of the Spanish national team.
Code surely being in the squad for England. Who else? Who else? Obviously, most are Portuguese, so we'll give a good probably 5 or 6 from ours who are in Portugal's squad. One would suspect, and then
outside chance of Kilman getting in the England squad.
Well, if he plays the way that he has, then you just never quite know. And it's not if there's a massive injury. I think
it would depend on the fortunes of Wolves. If Wolves start go on a proper good spell now till the season, then that will, and Kilman plays in that and then that will put him in the spotlight, and they'll because
I think he's. And again, I think he's solid enough again this afternoon. Max. So it's a kind of performance which, if he keeps himself switched on and does what he needs to do, then he'll be there at some point. But will it be in time for the Euros, or maybe should he focus on a trip to Qatar next year for the World Cup? It'll be very interesting to see how that pans out and whether he could sneak in potentially. But 2 Wolves centre backs being in a Euro squad would be amazing from an English perspective. But no, obviously 4.5 months to go, I think, until it all kicks off. Hopefully, anyway. Still all sorts of chatter as to whether fans will be let in, how fans will be let in, if they're let in, whether it will be in, say, one country or whether it will be all across, still in the 11 cities that they're planning it, 11 or 12 cities that they're planning to have it in. So be interesting to, and I guess the UEFA are going to have to make a decision fairly soon with time flying by. And I think Central Europe is still having problems with the virus and suppressing it properly. So it will be.
I think everybody's still having problems, Cash.
Yeah, indeed.
It's definitely not even going to end as soon as we're all hoping. So coping is going to be the next step.
Indeed.
I think.
Fans could be on seats. I think there's a small chance it could be a good. I think the chances are getting better with fans being on seats in, say, at least Wembley, Handham, and the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. But yeah, it'll be great if we can. It'd be nice if I can make that trip to Glasgow in June for I think will be a good game. But we'll see.
David's over 50, so he'll be vaccinated by May.
Well, it's still on course. We suppose he's still on course to
wooden ship.
I'm not that old.
Yeah,
everybody's still on course to be vaccinated. I think that the aim was September for all adults. So we'll see. But over 12 million, it is positive. And in fact, we're able to go to the polls, as I say, in May in terms of local elections in 3 months. If we're able to do our democratic right, then hopefully everybody's plans will come together. Because I'm hopefully going to have a busy summer if I can get a Grand Prix ticket at some point. and hope I can get down to Silverstone. Then a few concerts
You know
this year.
what I want to do is go to the Speedway.
Mm.
I miss Speedway. And this is coming from a guy that went there one time ever, but that was a lot of fun. So a plug
Did you
for
see?
Wolves Speedway.
Yeah, Wolverhampton Wolves. I think the Speedway Premiership, actually, just to mention the other big Wolves side. I think does it have a start weight? Does it have a start a start
in May? Yeah.
Here in England, in the UK. Let me have a look. Yes, it is. You are right. And what date in May is that?
Hey, I know my Speedway. Okay.
No, I'm just.
That's literally all I know.
I keep a small eye. We've got so we kick off. Wolves kick off with Wolverhampton has an open meeting. I don't know what that means, but
I just remember that
May.
Pumpkin was when I was over the first time. Pumpkin was telling me about it, and then I was like, whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, they don't have any brakes on the bike. I was like, yes.
15 rounds. I need to get to Monmore. I've seen a bit of it on TV, particularly when Wolves almost won it, almost got a back-to-back title a few years ago. They came with they were 4 points. They lost the final by 4 points against, I think it was Bellevue or Swindon. It was agony. But good luck to the Wolverhampton Wolves when it comes to it in May. And it's going to be fascinating to see how the next couple of months, I think, overall, sport-wise, develop. Actually,
on that subject, I'm going to do another little segue there. As you're talking about dates, the next date which Wolves play
is indeed
11th
Thursday.
of February in the FA Cup.
Yes, FA Cup last 16 against a off-form Southampton side who, well, after last week,
you gotta go
12 goals in 2 games.
9-0 for Wolves in both games.
Conceded 12 goals in 2 games is not good at all for the Saints. Well, ultimately, first of all, is a chance to get into a quarter-final for the second time in 3 years, which would be fantastic and put us on the verge of the side at least. Don't know how fans would work, but put the guys 90 minutes away from potentially getting back down to Wembley for a semi-final and 2 games away from Europe and all that, and 3 games away from Europe if you get into the last 8. And I think the cup's fairly open this year, I have to say, even though obviously 4 of the big 6 still remain. I think it's a very fairly open competition. Lots of, say, mid-table Premier League sides who are still in it, and we are one of them. And I think hopefully Thursday gives us a really ideal opportunity to really show that we are bouncing back and we've got out of this rut. Because say only keeping clean sheets now in terms of defeats, only a couple in like our last 6 in both competitions, I think. So it is improvement across the. It is improvement. It is definitely improvement. And Southampton, no doubt. I'm guessing Southampton will be up for it because it is the cup. But I think their confidence will hopefully be still massively dented, knowing that they've conceded 12 in 2 league games, which is extraordinary. And we begin to get our mojo back. And therefore, I will say that we will get into the quarterfinal and we will win by 2-0. Don't know who will score. I think Silva, in fact, I will put my neck out and hot take, Silva will score on Thursday. I think, say, the pressure will, with, say, Jose being quite quiet, the pressure will come off Silva's soldiers. And if I can say the words correctly, but I think we'll get through, and Southampton's will feel still a bit depleted from the last couple of weeks where the league form has just began to tank, and that we are bouncing back. So hopefully be mean a quarter final, and who knows how we'll play. Maybe there'll be a couple of youngsters in the side, but from the looks how we went against Chorley, we'll probably go fairly strong, and that's a good approach to take, knowing that this is a very good chance of silverware potentially.
And
yep,
so
I agree.
Go on.
Well, I'm just, I keep saying every week since November that we're going to win the FA Cup. So obviously I'm picking us to win. So I guess we'll save the 9-0 for when we play them after the FA Cup. The next 2 games are Southampton, right? So, yeah.
3 days later we play them again. Yeah.
I think it'll still probably be a 1-0 Wolves win, some strange goal, or hopefully, hopefully Silva gets in on the action. But I think we'll have a strong side that starts, because that's the only thing left to win. We're not going to go up. We're not going to go down. We're not going to finish top 6 probably. Top 7 is out as a prize anymore because of the Winners' Cup, I believe, right? So
as the Europa Conference League as it is from next season, the winner of the League Cup.
I'm going to
the
call
winner
it
of the
Cup
League Cup will
Winners'
go
Cup,
into it.
and you can't stop me. It's the Cup Winners' Cup. But yeah, we'll do a 1-0 for Wolves, and then a 9-0 the next time out.
And actually, just to note as well, both goals obviously in the FA Cup game so far have been absolute spectacular. So maybe there'll be another absolute worldie from someone, as was the case with Adama. And then obviously Vitinha's strike was just glorious. 35 yards, had the audacity to take it on, and it went in all right.
You're going against a non-league side, might as well shoot. But what do you got, bud?
I am going to say Wolves 14, Southampton 13.
On penalties?
Yes.
I'd give up watching.
Oh.
I think it will be 0-0 at the end of the game, and then it'll be a really, really, really long penalty shootout.
That would, if my mind serves me correct, that would match. That I'm pretty sure would match Worcester City against Scunthorpe United a couple of years ago.
You can't say that.
2014.
Cash, we're on live TV.
No, that would indeed match Worcester City 13, Scunthorpe United 14 on penalties on the 18th of December 2014. So
it's Worcestershire, by the way.
Worcester City. I was born in Worcester. I was born in Worcester, the old hospital. But that would match that one, which was the longest FA Cup penalty shootout in history, I think, as well, in terms of biggest score.
I genuinely think it'll be 0-0 and then a penalty shootout, and it'll be a really long, nerve-wracking one.
And then we'll sneak through it.
Thanks for ruining my week.
Yeah, sorry. But I think, but ultimately, I actually think we'd go through.
Okay.
I hate penalties. Absolutely, I can't watch them.
Particularly with something as important as, say, a silverware potentially being on the line. Could you imagine if that was in the Europa League final and we'd got to the final and it went to penalties? Oh my God. I would have ran behind the back of my sofa and not wanted to watch. It would have been the worst possible scenario.
It would have been
indeed. And talk about predictions. Do we want to do a special one for the important game of football, as they describe over in the States?
Chiefs win by a record amount.
Ooh.
Chiefs 54, Buccaneers 53. No, it'll be I don't know if we were on when I said this. I don't know if anybody even cares outside of us two, or if you guys even care, to be honest. But I do feel like the Chiefs are a far superior side, and it should actually be quite boring. Probably won't. Having said that,
because it's a Super Bowl.
All the confidence that we'll win. It's a Super Bowl against Tom Brady, so he's never lost a Super Bowl by more than a score, I would say, if memory serves me correctly. Those were all really close games against the Giants and the Eagles. But yeah, I'll say like probably 38-24, something like that for the Chiefs.
I'll go a bit tight. I'll probably go say 30. I will go 32-26, and maybe another hot take, but Tom Brady, just like in 2018, will get sacked. Which, as I say, when watching that in the student bar up in Sheffield, the place went ballistic when Tom Brady was sacked. It was a phenomenal.
The Buccaneers are wearing their white jerseys tonight, so his is going to be muddy and brown by the end of it. I assure you.
Interesting, but if you could get two Super Bowls in a row, would be something pretty impressive considering how rare a feat it is.
No reason to watch anymore. The struggle is the fun part, and. Now that they're the champagne team of the NFL, it's like you go to a match expecting to win easily, and that's no fun. I don't know. Do you know? I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for saying this, but you kind of miss being like rough and tough. give these big guys your best shot, and then walk away with a loss with your head held high. Like those days were kind of fun.
Providing it's not like 2019 in which the game was just dragged one of the things that my students union, Sheffield Hallam Students Union, do every Super Bowl night, obviously not this year because of COVID, is that free shot after the first touchdown. That shot, it was obviously very much long waited, but my God, that was strong. One of my friends then subsequently ran to the loo. I think it sums up 2019 very nicely.
Does the game
for the Chiefs.
actually start at 10?
Coverage starts at 10.
Or just the coverage
11:30 for you guys. So
11:30 UK time. 11:30 UK time. Coverage starts at 10 on Sky. I think it's like 11 or something on the BBC. If my mind serves me correct. Because of me working, I might take a miss this year, and then I'll catch up on the highlights in the morning. But I was saying that I felt a bit tired last year, but then stayed up for the whole thing. So,
either way, in about 3 hours, I'm gonna be rip roaring drunk. So,
well,
I've got Jaegers ready. I intend to have one in a minute.
Maybe I could get like a Super Bowl update from you in about 3 hours time whilst you're rip roaring drunk.
Yeah, it's really you don't know football like I know football.
I hope to be rip roaring drunk when we win a quarter final against Manchester United or something like that in the FA Cup, just as was the case last year, just as the case in 2019. What an interesting way to end, I think.
Yes, definitely. I think we could call it a day there, and we will be back on Thursday after the massive long penalty drama that I predict, and we can talk about that then. So, bye everyone.
Have a good evening.
Cheers.
And have a good Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, I will.